Hey there, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is JR, I'm a hobbyist woodworker, and in today's video what we're going to talk about is dust collection, which is pretty important to me to make sure that, there's not a lot of airborne dust in my shop, because, that can get you after a long period of time of exposure. So it's important to a lot of woodworkers based on the number of videos that I see out there about dust collection. And I thought what I would do today is give you a 6-month review of my Harvey G700 dust processor, they call it. It's really a dust collection system. And let you know what I think about it, both the positive and the things that I wish were different. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate your time. Let's get into it. So this isn't the first dust collector that I've had, but I will tell you the reason that I went looking for a better dust collector than the one I had before was, number one, efficiency, but number two, noise. So my previous dust collector was a Harbor Freight that I had modified pretty well with a Win environmental dust filter, the exhaust filter, and then a Dust Deputy Cyclone in front of it. And it worked great for really one tool at a time. It was a 2 horsepower model. And but it was noisy as hell, and at 92 to 95 decibels, and I have to say I don't always wear my ear protection like I should, or you turn it on for what you think is just a minute, and then before you know it, you've been listening to that thing for about 5 minutes. So one of the neat things about this model here is that it runs at about 60-65 decibels in my shop, and that's important over a long period of time. But also, just a rough overview, it has HEPA filtration, dust bins that roll out. I'll show you that here in just a moment. I will mention that this is not a sponsored video. This is not a commercial for Harvey. The reason that I'm motivated to do it is that a lot of us spend a lot of time thinking about and researching tools, and one of the things that's important to me is to get other user feedback on things that they've put into their shop or put into their toolkit and have either found were a successful ad or a not a successful ad. So, everybody's got a certain budget to work with, and I just am trying to find a way to help others the way that I got help in the past, which is rely on some reviews of other people. So again, not affiliated in any way with Harvey or any company, frankly, just interested in passing along good information when it's available to me. So thanks again for joining, and let's get into some of the more finer details. So one of the things that you'll notice right away is that this is a little bit different configuration than a lot of other dust collectors that are out on the market, in that it takes up more horizontal space than it does vertical space. So just for rough, and you can get the info off their website, but just for rough idea, this is from the end of the handle to the end of the unit is about 60 inches. It stands about 34 inches or so tall. And from the back to the front of the inlet over here, you're about 27 inches. And what I know that some people have done is, put a workbench over the top of it, which is actually a nice way to recover shop space for yourself. So in addition to the reports of lower noise levels, one of the things that I noticed was that they're using Siemens VFD control. This is a 220 volt unit, which I was fortunate enough to have 220 volts already wired to my shop, so that wasn't a problem, but something that you may have to take into consideration if your shop doesn't have 220 volts. So just roughly going over it, we've got a manometer over here, which is going to help you to view your flow through the system. There's an alarm light. Here's your VFD for your speed control. Down there is a 6-inch inlet, which I have to tell you, I've cut out the little ring in there that keeps larger debris from going into the impeller, because what I found was the one con that I would say is that it was such an aggressive grid pattern that anything over a small size of dust would collect in there. The minute that one little area started to get clogged, it produced more and more of a clog, and that caused me some headaches. So the neat feature here is the dust bin is broken into 2 individual sections. One is for large chips, and the other, which this is the large chip bin, and this is the fine dust bin. So there is an alarm, a sensor, that if the main chip area gets too full, it will first sound an alarm to let you know about it, and then secondly, if it continues in that fashion, it'll shut itself off so that you don't plug the filtration system full. The one con that in this area is that if you're doing a lot of light duty dust work, so if you're using your sanding machines that produce a lot of fine dust, this bin can fill with fine dust, whereas the large chip bin may not be full enough to sound the alarm or to turn the unit off. And if there's a lot of fine dust in there, it can actually find its way into the filters. So that's one thing I wish they would do, is add a second sensor for the small size, or the small side of the bin. So moving over to this side, what you've got are a couple of flappers that will agitate the inside of the two HEPA filters that are on this end, which is the exhaust of the system. That's going to create a situation where the fine dust will fall out of the filters, and there are two cleanouts down at the bottom of the machine that are pretty easily accessible with screw-off caps on the ends. So makes cleaning it out a pretty easy operation. So I have to say that before starting my research and looking for my next dust collector after I was ready to retire my Harbor Freight, I really hadn't heard of Harvey Manufacturing or Harvey Tools. As it turns out, they have been apparently white labeling other tools for other manufacturers that allow them to stick their label on it and call it their own. I have to say the machine is well constructed. The ordering process was easy, and it was direct through the website, Harvey Woodworking. I'll put a link down at the bottom. I don't exactly remember what it was. I did catch this on a flash sale, which Harvey seems to do from time to time. If you look at the wrong place, you know, a Rockler or your typical wood related store, they're apparently resellers of these. They're going to charge $3,500 to $4,000 for this machine. At the time of this recording, July of 2021, it's on Harvey's website for right at about $2,500. I caught this on a flash sale for $2,200, but that was last year. So, maybe able to be patient and find yourself a sale. But again, the ordering process was easy. Delivery was great. They used a LTL, shipping company to get to the last mile, and they did a fine job. It came on a pallet. It was, really well secured. There was absolutely no drama in either ordering or the delivery or any of that stuff. Very little that you have to do to assemble the thing. You really just stick the handle on the one end and, that's it. Plug it in, turn it on, and go. So if you were looking for a way to deal with your dust in your shop in an effective manner, what I can tell you is this is a substantial upgrade for me anyway. It does run a 6-inch inlet, so I do have a quick connect hard pipe system in here that runs 6 inches down to the tool where it reduces to 4 inches. I'll put a few shots of that down below just to give you an idea of what that looks like, and I'll also include a link if you're interested. I looked at the nordfab system and Carolina Ductwork, I think it was called, and ended up going with another company that I'll put the link down below. And again, I just want to tell you that none of these are affiliate links or sponsor links or any of that stuff. I'm just like you. I'm a hobbyist woodworker, and every bit of your tool budget's important. So I'm not opposed to looking for a good deal. A lot of my bigger pieces of equipment, jointer, planer, things of that nature, I have no problem buying those used if they're in good condition. So I'm all about finding a good deal and passing on the information when I find something that's of good value. And that's what I would call this dust processor is a good value. So I hope that you found this to be of use to you and informative, if anything else, and may guide you in your research decision about which dust collector you're going to go with. Or you may need to scratch this off for reasons like, I know not a lot of folks have 220 in their garage, so that could be a problem. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. If you found some value in this, I'd ask you maybe hit the like button and hit subscribe so that you see future videos as they come out. I appreciate your time today. Make it a great day. Thank you.